A very good morning to all of you. A warm welcome to all of you on our today's special webinar on startup setup and their compliances. Today is the second day of our session. Warm welcome to our today's speaker, CA Devansh Lakhani and Mr. Chirdeep Kabiraj sir. Also, I welcome our guide and mentor, CATC Bafna sir, our founder member, CA Amit Gandhi and CA Abhishek Shah, our core committee member, CA Rahul Narware, and I welcome again all the attendees. Now I request CA Amit Gandhi to take over the charge and take the session forward. Amit, please.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you, Karan. Good morning, all of you. On the second day of a special webinar on startup setup and their compliances, I warm welcome all the participants. Speaker for today's webinar, CA Devansh Lakhani and Mr. Kabiraj sir, our mentor and guide, CA Bafna ji, who has always supported us in all the activities. It's a great day for all of us, as today we are celebrating birthday of our own Bafna ji. So I wish you a very happy birthday, Bafna sir. Also, I also warm welcome organizer Karan and Rahul and the founder member of What Next team Abhishek ji. So now I would like to invite birthday boy Bafna ji to please introduce the speakers. Bafna sir.
Thank you, Amit bhai. Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce and welcome the RD of the fund expert CA Devansh Lakhani, who is a professionally chartered accountant and serving as the director of Lakhani Financial Services, and he helps startups for raising the funds from his network of investors. He guides and advises startups to scale up by providing the efficient sales, marketing, team building, and business management strategies. He has always executed fundraising by the block deal on all the stock exchanges and conducted IPOs and right issues SME platform to tune of over 50 crores and help by channelizing their business model and investment. So most welcome CA Devansh Lakhani on our platform. Most welcome, and most welcome was the Chirdeep Kabiraj sir. He is also very dominant, very professionally qualified. He production from this group, and he has more than 30 years experience with this Mahindra and Reliance Retail, and he is the founder and director of CEO of this services. Most welcome on this platform of Kaviraj sir. Most welcome to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bafna sir. Today, as we are celebrating the birthday of Bafna sir, and also today is the Guru Purnima. So, sir, from my heart, I wish you a very happy birthday on this Guru Purnima, Bafna sir. You being the mentor and guide of What Next. And sir, you have always supported in all the activities, and you are behind us and supporting us as always. With this, I request CA Devansh Lakhani to please take over the charge, and let's start with the presentation, please.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Amit bhai. Thank you, Bafna sir, for this kind introduction. Very good, kind words from you. And thank you, Amit bhai and Abhishek, to give me this opportunity to present here to these wonderful people. Thank you again to all the attendees who've come up on Sunday morning to listen to us on startups fundraising and about the startup, how we do the investment advisory for startups. So it's especially an honor to actually present in front of my fellow chartered accountant members. Before I start speaking about startups, let me just give a very short brief about myself. I cleared my chartered accountancy in May 2015. Post that, I started working at a research and a corporate finance firm based in Mumbai itself, and it was a mid-sized firm where I gained a lot of experience about corporate finance, about equity research, about portfolio management, about stock markets, about fundraising, etc., private equity, and all those things. And 2.5 years back, I started my firm, Lakhani Financial Services, wherein we started with a lot of wealth management, investment advisory services. We gradually shifted to investment banking, wherein we conducted, as Mr. Bafna rightly put it, we conducted IPOs and right issues. And we did block deals on the stock exchange also. And in the last 9-10 months, we again pivoted into the field of startup advisory and fundraising for startups, basically from our network of angel investors and VC funds that we have. Which I'll talk to you about in shortly, what we do out there in detail. So this has been our journey over the last, my journey, especially over the last 5 years. So without wasting any time, I'll start introducing to you. This is my firm, Lakhani Financial Services. Redefine your investments, define your future. I'm going to play a very short video, and we are going to have some quick chats regarding that video. Let me just start the video, guys. Is it visible, guys?
No, no, it's coming.
Uh,
It is overlapping.
Is it
Stop
proper?
this. Yeah, it got stopped.
1 second. Yeah, I mean, it was over. So guys, let's have a quick chat about this. How many of y'all know what this video was about? If y'all know, do write it in the chat box. Yes, what it was about. And if y'all don't know, please write a no, and I'll explain to y'all also, what this was about.
I think Devansh, can you play it again? Because members might not
Visible over here.
It was
Yeah.
not visible?
No, it was visible, but play it again so people can answer.
Okay.
It was not visible.
Devansh,
Just 1 second. I'm trying to.
I can also play.
Yeah, please, if you can play. It's not coming from here, I think.
Yeah, 1 minute. So, friends, I am playing this video again. Just watch this video and please write about it. Yeah, it's playing. Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. So, friends, let's have a quick chat about it. How many of y'all could see what this particular video was about? If y'all do know it, please write yes in the chat box, and you know what it was about. If y'all don't know, you can also write a no. I'll give a short brief about what it was.
Are you able to see the chat box?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay.
Just waiting for 30 seconds, Abhishek, to understand what the attendees are writing also. I think quite a few are writing no.
Most of them are writing no.
Yeah. Okay. I think quite a few of our friends probably wouldn't have seen this show. So let me tell you about this show. Basically, this show is called Shark Tanks. It's a US based show, the #1 show in US for business, basically, where startups come and pitch to the angel investors and the big people of who know about technology and who invest in startups. They come and they get a pitching session with them, wherein multiple questions are asked, multiple rounds of the question and answer session that goes on. So this is a wonderful show, and I recommend every one of you all out here who probably haven't seen it also and who have also seen it to watch this show. This is a great insight into the new age technology oriented businesses that are coming up. Many of them, all of them are in US, but many of them are also coming up in India, which always helps us to actually keep our ears and eyes open. So moving forward, so what is a startup? I think startup, all of us are out here, chartered accountants, practicing chartered accountants, know that as per the DIPP, there is a definition given to us. An entity shall be considered as a startup up to a period of 10 years from the date of incorporation or a registration. If it is incorporated as a private limited company or a registered or a partnership firm or a limited liability partnership in India with a turnover of rupees 100 crores. So this is a definition obviously given to us by the government. However, when we look for investments in startups, this is a very fine definition which I came across and which I really appreciated. It goes by saying a startup is a young company founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop a unit, product, or a service which can be highly scalable. By its nature, the typical startup tends to be a shoestring operation with initial funding from the founders or their friends or their families, with technology playing a great enabler. And if you read the last line, a startup is a company working to solve a problem where the solution is not obvious and the success is not guaranteed. So this is the crux of what a startup is defined by when it comes to the actual investment purpose by angel investors. Abhishek, someone is writing screen not visible. Is it visible? I'm sorry to stop.
Yeah, it's visible. The screen is visible.
Okay, I think someone, Mr. Swapnil, has asked screen not visible.
I think he has left.
In the chat. Okay. So I'll continue. So this is what happens, when one looks at investing in a business or a startup. They are looking at all these kind of things where the startup is solving a major problem, where the product or the service itself is highly scalable, and the most important part, that technology can play a great enabler to actually scale up that product, to scale up that business. Now I'll give you a few examples of a startup and which are not a startup, right? So it'll make a, it'll give you a lot of clarity of where, investments is done in startups, because I'm sure there would be quite a few startups that would have come to, multiple of our practicing chartered accountant friends out here. But, there would be a difficulty probably in identifying, okay, how should I raise funds for this, or how should I raise funds for this particular startup? So let me start by telling you, which are kinds of a startup. The example, one example is going to present after me, which is into, cricket technology startup. But I'll read you other 4 examples. The first one is called Catch. It's basically a high-tech driven 2-wheeler ride-sharing startup based out of Gujarat. So, that is a kind of a startup which enables technology. The second one is called AutoCAD. It's a virtual reality and a tech-based platform which provides and improves learning ability of autism children who are affected with the learning disability and autism. It basically provides a learning platform for these children. The third is Rekla, for which again we are doing fundraising and almost on the closure of it. It's called, it is basically a tech-driven platform which provides a solution by way of providing manpower services and hyperlocal delivery services. And the niche is that it does it in tier 2, tier 3 kind of cities. And the fourth one is called Subhyog, again a tech-based platform where it provides services, and it solves the problem of actually doing household rituals, whether it is the happy rituals or the sad rituals. It conducts all these rituals by actually providing everything on a tech platform. So these are the kind of a startup, where fundraising can happen, where good investments can happen and where we can actually help the founder to scale up the business and help them in their operations, right? The other side of the example is the startups, the companies or firms which are not called a startup, but they might be again young. They might be under 100 crores, they might be under 10 years, and they might be registered under private limited company. But here, investments or fundraising cannot happen. That's the difference between the two. An insurance broker, so he might be a normal broking firm, it might be a normal broking firm, but again, it's a very traditional business. There is something where fundraising is not possible. Again, metal provider, steel or any kind of pipes or something like that, manufacturer or a trader, that is where something, startups fundraising nahi ho sakta. The third one is again anything that is traditional, any traditional business which is there, which you might come across. Many of you would have these traditional businesses as your clients, also maybe in the cloth market or metal market, something like that. So here is something which is not highly scalable. They don't use technology to grow beyond a certain aspect, and they work in a very traditional business manner. So this is where something where fundraising and investments cannot actually happen. So now let us understand what are the what kind of startups actually, what are the stages and what are their phases basically when they when in the whole journey. So the first stage is of course the development stage, that is the the pre-revenue stage, what we call. It is basically, this stage is something where the founder is actually has come up with an idea. He's developing that idea into a product, which we call it as minimum viable product, and MVP. He's creating a prototype of it, and after creating a prototype, he is launching it in a small scale to test the customers, whether the customers are ready to pay for it, whether they are accepting the product, and whether it is getting a good response. Basically, that is called proof of concept, that is POC. So this is where something where generally the funds that come to the founders is basically from the 3 F's: founders, his family, and his friends. So these are the 3 F's from which up to the level of POC the funds are raised by the founder, right, till the time proof of concept is not there. Now, after proof of concept, when he wants to grow, when he wants to scale it up, that is where the angel investors and corporate investors come into the picture. And that is where also we, Lakhani Financial Services, we come into the picture, wherein we help the startups to create a proper business plan, and we help them to connect with the right minded and the right kind of investors for his or her business. So if someone is into edtech business, we try to connect someone from the education industry, from who has done very well for himself in the education space, and we try to raise capital from those kind of investors. So this is where our niche and specialty lies. And of course, when you go later in the stage, traditional funding comes into the picture. You can raise money by way of debt also once you're profitable. And again, the final part is obviously the maturity, when a startup would ideally be want to come out with an IPO or get acquired or merged with someone at a very good, very strong valuation from where they had started. So it creates a win-win for everyone concerned. Now, types of investors who invest in startups. Basically, the first two types of investors are called angel investors. Why they're called angel investors? Because they invest in a startup as an angel. They come to actually aid the startup, that okay, when the startup required funds to grow, they required some mentor to actually mentor them, some experienced hand to mentor them. That's when these guys come into the picture with some kind of capital, and they help the startup to kickstart his or her growth phase. So that's why they're called angel investors. The first kind of angel investor is an entrepreneur. As I mentioned, someone who has done a business or something, say for example, if someone is a doctor, is a practicing doctor since a long time, very experienced, knowledgeable doctor, and done multiple surgeries, operations, etc. And if he is offered a startup which is into health tech space, something with something related to health, which he understands, and it has huge amount of technology which can scale up to pan-India level and probably even global level, and it solves a very important problem in the market. So that is where this doctor entrepreneur, he can get interested to invest in such a startup, and it can start with as little as 5 lakhs. Same goes for generally the entrepreneurs want to invest in startups where it is from their niche or from their business which they understand and which they have been doing since the last multiple years of experience that they have. The second is salaried people, again, mid to high level managers, CEOs, partners of firms, etc. These are the kind of people who have probably already, they would be, well settled in their lives more or less, and they wouldn't mind actually diversifying their portfolio and creating a portfolio into startups. So they are also called angel investors. We are raising funds from these kind of people right now. Many of salaried people, from mid-level managers onwards, many of them have got interested to invest in startups because obviously, mutual funds and stock markets and gold and everything is very, very common. But this is something relatively new. This is where people are excited about to learn more businesses, to be a part of many, many new age technology oriented businesses. So yeah, these are the second kind of angel investors. The third is obviously the institutional ones, where we have a few connections with venture capital and seed funds. These guys generally start with 25 lakhs worth of investment. Typically, the smaller venture capital or seed funds, they start with 25 lakhs. Otherwise, the big ones, obviously, they go on from probably 1.5 crores, 2 crores onwards or something. So these are the kinds of investors who actually invest in a startup. So now coming to what we at Lakhani Financial Services also bring to this ecosystem and how we bring value. The first and the most important thing is obviously we try the startups, we help startups in connecting with the like-minded investors, from our network, which I already appraised you all about, who can help them to, the capital can actually help them to scale up. We try to connect them with investors who not only bring in financial capital, but also bring in a tons of experience and knowledge and, sharing of experience, guiding the founder. Generally, the founders are, young, so they always need some guidance in business. So we try to bring in such investors who can always help them to grow and can solve any of their doubts also whenever they are in need. Second is one of the most important and underrated thing which probably startups don't understand, and which we do it very, very rigorously and very strongly we suggest to everyone, without which it becomes very difficult to actually raise funds, which is obviously to prepare a business plan and a pitch deck, which we have to show to the investors to garner their interest and to gain their confidence. Because without preparing a business plan, a thorough business plan which comes out of the vision of the founders, it is very, very, very difficult to actually pitch anything to anyone. Even it's a common man, without a business plan, I'm not too sure about what I'm actually speaking to the, to that particular person who would be a highly net worth individual who wanted to invest, or an institution also, and a very beautiful pitch deck also. So these are the things we provide value addition with, and we help the startups to prepare these kind of documents, which are very, very, very essential when you actually go to investors to pitch them. We help startups, in their whole planning, in the strategizing to scale up. We provide them with sales strategies, marketing strategies. In the second presentation, when Mr. Kabiraj will speak, a lot of marketing strategies which we have brainstormed, sales strategies that we have brainstormed during the preparation of the business plan. So this is what we provide value addition in with also. We understand from the investor's point of view, we understand what they require. If a doctor wants to invest only in health tech startup, we do not go to him with any other kind of, say, in education or agriculture technology startup. We don't spam the investors saying that, okay, I'm sending you all these kinds of decks, please have a look, whichever you like, you can call me up or something. We don't do that. We take it very, very in a niche manner to the investors, because we understand, we've spoken to them, we regularly talk to them what they are in need of, right? We, as I mentioned, investors not only invest but also play the role of a mentor to founders with tons of knowledge and experience that they're bringing, because mentorship is again a very underrated thing in the startup ecosystem. because quite a few founders, they look only for capital and they think, without mentorship they can go ahead and scale up, but it's highly impossible in whatever my experience is there in this ecosystem. And the final thing is, we help and structure the whole deal, the whole negotiation, the valuation aspect, the exit strategy. We help in the legal documentation from our outsourced partners. Any tax compliance is there. I would love to work with, and talk to all my CA friends in this webinar also, if we could be associated for any of the tax compliance and the startup part also. And that's how we complete the whole funding process, right? This is what we do in the startup ecosystem. Yes, many of you all would be having a question, is it a risky bet? Yes, it is a risky bet, no doubt about it. Startups generally don't have a lot of history or financials to back it up as a normal company does have, because they would be 1 year old, 2 years old, or 3 years old. They don't have a lot of history. But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty about it. When you can invest in such a business, obviously, there is a good amount chance that obviously, there would be some part of your capital that could be wiped out also. But that's the beauty of it. And the idea is to create a portfolio of startups when you are investing in them. It is not जैसे आप stocks में या mutual fund में portfolio बनाते हैं, वैसे it is very, very important to create a portfolio in a disciplined manner for startups also when you're investing there. Yes, it has overhead capital, and there is very low overhead capital that is required, which always makes it lucrative for the investors to put their bets on, because the failure rate is higher than normal stocks or listed stocks or something like that. A lot of thing counts on the founders' experience or the management team's experience as well. And also the angel investors, when they're investing in startups, they have to consider that, okay, this amount I'm investing in a startup, this amount I do not mind if I lose it also, because this I'm doing it for the long term. I believe in the founders, I believe in the execution capabilities, I believe in the product, I believe that this can be completely scalable, to a high level, and that's why I'm putting this certain amount out here. That's when it is very good when the angel investor and the founder are on the same pages. So it makes the startup, function like nothing else. So yeah, who wants to be a shark? Again, I would recommend, please do watch this show. You would get a lot of idea about how the startup ecosystem also works. Finally, this is who we are, Lakhani Financial Services. Our contact details are here. If anyone would like to contact with me or with my team, please do. I mean, you all can take a screenshot. I will hold on to this for some time, and I would love to connect with every one of you out here, because I know I'm a CA. We know that CAs work in a association, and this is something very unique, startups. I hope to connect with all of you in the near future. You all can please take a screenshot. It would be lovely to connect with you and probably work with you on any deals that come across to you guys also, and to grow together basically. So yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot. Thank you for listening to me patiently. I might have gone a little bit over time, but thanks a lot for listening to me. Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you, Amit bhai. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Devansh.
Yeah. So before leaving, I would like to introduce my client also, who is here with me. He's a startup which we love, the sport that we love and we play, and I think Abhishek and Amit bhai arrange it every May for us. It's about cricket. Please listen to him very carefully. It's something that we love very passionately, cricket. And they are already 3 years into existence, and they run a cricket academy, and we are enabling very, very good technology in those academy, which is used at the highest level of cricket, that is national and international and state level. and we are doing that at the local level, at the ground level, so that students and players who are at the younger age, they can come up and they can grow and improve their skills and aim to play at the highest international level that is there. So yeah, handing over to Chiradeep sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Devansh, and good afternoon to everybody. This is a unique opportunity for me to present the startup, and I would like to thank Devansh again for providing this opportunity. So, Abhishek, how do I share my screen?
Please accept it, sir. I have sent you the request.
Yeah, just hold on. Okay. So, in the meantime that the screen starts, I just introduce myself. I am Chiradeep Kabiraj.
We can see your screen, sir.
Yeah, the screen is visible.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I am Chiradeep, and I belong to a place called Jamshedpur, the steel city of India. I was born and brought up there, and I did my engineering in BE production from BIT Misra Ranchi. After that, I have spent almost about 23 years in corporate, working with the major giants in automobile and retail. So I worked with the Tatas, Mahindra, General Motors, Cummins, and my last 7 years was with Reliance. And I quit my job in 2018 as supply chain head for Reliance Retail. Uh, as on date, nobody in India has been able to utilize. And for the last 4 years, we've been operating in Gurgaon. So this is a cricket academy, a chain of cricket academies. We started in April 2016 with one center, and slowly it has grown to 9 centers for cricket and one center for football. We have close to about 350 students across these 10 centers, and they are managed by about 13 coaches. We also have our mentor Bruce Adams, who's Australian, and he's been coaching in India for the last 15 years with very good, renowned academies. So we have him as a consultant and mentor. So I'll just go through. Okay, after 4 years, when we have built this prototype, we are looking to replicate this in a number of tier 2 cities across over the next 5 years, and that amounts to about 142 centers. So we are currently looking to move into 142 centers. Okay. Right. So as Devansh was saying, what is the problem or the current situation or the current status of academies? This is not only applicable to cricket, but this is applicable to almost every sport in India. So, but I will keep this limited to cricket. So the first problem is that in India we have a lot of academies in different cities, but most of them are unorganized. They are either run by a local cricketer, or it is run by some franchisees, but it is mostly unorganized. So it is, if we look at a similarity, it is like the kirana shop and the retail organized retail that has come up over the last 10, 11 years in India. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to create an organized cricket coaching chain of academies across India. Uh, one, we have the unorganized cricket coaching. Then second, in all these centers, most of, or the 90% of the centers, as per my research, and there's a lot of data available, there are no standard practices. No standard practices in terms of the right methodologies for a roadmap for a very potential cricketer. In most, if we look at the current Indian cricketers or IPL cricketers, they have come up with a lot of struggle because they have not been provided with a roadmap through the right academies. So that is one of the gaps that we are trying to close. Yes, if we look at the metro cities and tier one cities, there are a lot of academies because people have the potential to pay for these cricket coaching services. But if we look at the tier two and tier three cities of India, where the actual talent and potential lies, it does not have the requisite coaching facilities for the kids. So this is one gap again, which we are trying to resolve through our cricket academy. The last, but it is not the least, it is the most important, that uh, today we have a lot of technology in terms of IT technologies, in terms of video analysis, in terms of equipment which are available for the correct fitness and skill training, and none of the academies are using it. So we would be taking help of a lot of technologies through our partners. I'll explain it in the next few slides. So this is what the problem statement that I could realize about 4 or 5 years back, and then the entire business strategy was built upon this. As a background, I diversity and a lot of corporate. So I have a background of cricket, and that's a passion for me. Now, we've looked at the problem statement. If we look at the solution, I have already the solution is that if we are able to scout for good talent in hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, whatever.
Abhijit, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, the first and foremost is that we need to create an environment and a methodology by which we scout for the right kind of talent and take them through the rigorous training over the number of years, and then create a roadmap through which they move up to play a higher level of cricket, which is the ambition of a lot of students today. Like there are a uh, lot of young people who have the ambition of becoming a hero in Bollywood, uh, IPL, and the Indian cricket team doing so well. There are lot of kids who have the talent to move up and play higher level of cricket. Uh, the second is that with all these, we also still need to understand that uh, for the students and the parents to afford. Uh, then told it from corporate. The talk is on get certain corporates in our uh, fold to support this. Uh, the next is that today there is a lot of focus on by the government, by the corporates, and by individuals that how we bring the girls into a stream where they are. It's like the boys that many of the girls have the skills and the talent to play a lot of sports. So similarly for cricket, women's cricket in India is growing, and there would be a lot of opportunities in terms of playing cricket, in terms of jobs, in terms of moving ahead in life. So the one of the major initiatives is to involve scout talent for girls, and then help them to uh, play cricket and move up the level. So okay, now over the last 4 years that we've understood that only a cricket coaching with a good coach is not sufficient for bringing in a lot of students, a lot of talents, and then help them in growing. So we've got Mr. Bruce Adams, who is our mentor, and he helps us with a lot of advice, with a lot of new technologies, new methodologies of training, and he himself conducts boot camps for us. Then the roadmap, the second one is the pyramid structure that we have created for the roadmap of the students as to how they play and move up to the higher level. Uh, we we are ensuring that we have the right kind of coaches. Then we give them a lot of match experience, because we all know that practice is practice, but performance is on the during the match. So even today, we conduct the Arcade Premier League, which is held 3 times a year, and there are close to about 30 matches in 3 age groups. So the students get a lot of exposure to play matches, perform, and do the correction. So that's one. Then uh, I've been talking about the technology. So we have brought in partners who can provide us with video analysis, bowling machines, the right kind of communication system and the academy management system. Then we have tie-ups with the manufacturers of cricket kits and the equipment to be provided. Uh, then the newest technology is the bat sensor. So we've got that also in our fold now. So these will help the students to analyze their performance during the practice, during the match. So and then it helps the coaches to ensure that these corrections are made. Then uh, yes, a cricketer needs to have an overall development also. Overall development in terms of leadership, in terms of mental strength for performing, the right kind of diet and nutrition. So this also we are going to provide on a requirement or an optional basis, so that we are not only able to develop good cricketers, but also as good leaders for the future. Then yes, we will have standard processes and facilities across all our centers, so that the experience of coaching for every student is on a similar level. So some of these methodologies for the marketing is currently also used, but this is something, the local heroes is something that we would be unique, because the students in our academy who perform very well would be our brand ambassador for that particular center. So this helps the parents to identify their kids with their local heroes. So that gives a very good boost. Other like digital marketing, offline advertising, and of course, Bruce Adams brings in a lot of attraction for the students, uh, uh, because he is a very known face in India today. Okay. So, where have we been in the last 4 years? So, like I said, we have 10 centers, 10 centers now, 9 for cricket and 1 for football. So, football is on an experimental basis. Till date, we have we have coached around 1,250 plus students over the last 4 years. Uh, Currently, we have 13 coaches. We've clocked a revenue of about 75 lakhs in the previous financial year. Uh, a healthy profitability till now. We've organized 7 every 4 months. So 7 of them have been completed in the last season, and we have schools in Gurgaon. So I have already spoken about the partnerships. So Transbeam is one, uh, SG for cricket kit, infrastructure and equipment, and Sports Uno for the software and communication tool. Uh, Further to this, we have a tie-up with Narayana Hospitals for any emergencies, for getting some doctors on a request basis to come and speak to the students. And this is what has given us that we can go ahead and look at more uh, arenas for like mental strengthening, diet and nutrition. So that we will uh, increase. So like we said that the pricing needs to be affordable. So even today and going forward, the academy fees would be about 2,500, and the value-added services we've listed down. The business is like each center has a capacity of about 80 to 90 students. The break even at the center level happens with about 34 to 35 students. So sustaining the business after a center is established is the probability is pretty high until and unless there are some major issues like a school getting closed down or something. The centers continue for a longer period of time, and it's a very healthy, profitable scenario that comes up after 7 to 8 months of operation for a particular center. And now coming to the market opportunities, we don't have very clear figures in this because uh, sports even today in India is not termed as an industry, but sooner or later this will become a big industry. Sports industry will grow. The government is now but whatever figures we have from the KPMG report and other data which is available on the net uh, through our research, the Indian sports industry is today approximately about $11 billion. The Indian cricket industry, out of the $11 billion, is 6.7. So this is close to about 65% of the sports industry. And out of the, so 6.7 billion is also inclusive of the IPL, which is a major portion. The Indian cricket training industry is close to about $0.5 billion. And this is going to grow as per the KPMG report, which was published in 2018. So this is where our coaching comes in this opportunity. Looking at the competition, I have touched a little bit. The competition is majorly with the local academies in the particular city. So these are the academies which you find with about 15-20 students in every nook and corner of the tier 1 cities or the metros. The second category is a single academy run by an ex-cricketer. He might be a Ranji player. He might be an ex-Indian cricketer. So we have a lot of examples. So that is the second competition. The third is the a little bit organized cricket academies like of Dhoni or Pathan brothers, who are operating on a franchisee model. So these are the three categories of competition. So we are on uh, on the ground. We are trying to take the students, the market from the first to the local academies and the ex-cricketers by creating the academies which are more convenient. There are standard methodologies, and we are putting a lot of technology and equipment for training the students. So most of these we have spoken. So the competitive advantage or the USP of the academy that we are going to form as technology, the value-added services, Arcade Premier League going forward. This is the Arcade Premier League is a big attraction for the students because they get to play tournament competitive matches every 4 months, which lasts for about 1.5 months. So they have a lot of practice. They have a lot of pride in participating, performing. That's a huge attraction. So it's a big USP for us. Pricing, of course, the franchisee-based cricket academies of the ex-cricketers, they are priced pretty high. So where we are doing it at about 2,500, they do it at about 5,500 to 7,000 a month. So academy across the cities, we already have year one, the total is 22, growing to in the year five, about 142 centers with close to about 10,000. It's a very enthusiastic and self-driven person. So his advice and mentoring does help. We've spoken about Bruce Adams. So Bruce,
Sir, I think your voice is not coming.
so Bruce
Kaviraj,
Adams
sir, your,
is an Australian. Mine?
yeah, Kaviraj, sir, your voice is not there. Okay, Devansh, let's do one thing. Let's start with the question and answer session. Devansh,
Hello?
I think
Yeah,
Kaviraj sir's audio is not there. So Devansh, you are there, right?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, Kaviraj sir. I think. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. So you
Hey,
can
it is
take up
not
the
audible?
questions. No,
Sir, your voice is
Devansh, you
going
are
again.
audible, but Kaviraj sir is not audible.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
Chiradeep sir, your voice is going again and again. It is. Matlab, you know. So we can start with the Q&A session. I think we were at the
Yeah.
end of it also, so it's fine. Chiradeep sir, if you can come little bit more in network so that we can start with the Q&A session also. Yes, Abhishek, Amit bhai, you can start with the Q&A session.
Yeah, Kiri, if we have any questions now, we can take up. Kiri, Karan? If any participants have the questions, they can write the questions in the question panel and we can take it up.
So I think as of now there is no any particular questions.
Okay. We again request the participants if you have any questions. So participants are asking, can we get the presentations?
Can we get that?
So
Yeah, so we can send it to Abhishek or something on email. I think then
you
you
please
can
send it to
send it
Abhishek.
to.
We will circulate. Yes, we will circulate the presentations for today as well as
Yeah,
yesterday also.
yeah, done.
Any other question?
That we can send it.
Any other question?
Huh?
No, I'm asking the participants if they have any other question, they can come up with the. Rohit ji, yes, the recording will be available. So Devansh, there is one question. If there is any startup meet with investors online, please help us connect with them so we can have a better understanding how it is done in the actual world.
No, I didn't get it. Can you repeat it?
It's if there is any startup meet with investors online, please help us connect with them so we can have a better understanding how it is done in the actual world. So Vaibhav ji, we will display the contact details of Devansh so that you can connect with him. Devansh, if you can please display your contact details on the screen, please.
Okay, 1 second. Can you just allow me for the screen sharing?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, it's with you now.
You can see my screen?
Yeah. So your contact details, please.
Yeah, here it is. Is it visible properly?
Yeah. So Vaibhav ji, you can connect with him. Please share both the presentation. Yes, we will share both the presentations. Can you name some institutional and angel investors?
I cannot name anyone like this.
Okay. What is the US the program name?
Which program?
I don't know. Matlab Ravi Teja has written what is the US the program name?
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Ravi ji, it's Shark Tank. Okay. Devansh, the other question is a little idea on foreign investment clearance.
Yeah, for investment in startups or in general?
No, for startups.
Yeah, so I mean, if there is an NRI or a foreigner who wants to invest in an Indian startup, obviously, any rules and regulations that affect with it in terms of, the outside capital coming in. So to do with the, the Foreign Exchange Act and the RBI Act these are the two things that we need to, take into consideration. I'm not too well versed with the intricacies of, of what actually the act says. We haven't raised any capital from outside India till now, so I'm not too sure. But I mean, there would be certain formalities and compliances to be done to comply with the Income Tax Act, Companies Act, FEMA, and the RBI Act. And once these things are in place, I think investments can happen. It's not that you cannot do it. It's just that you need to follow all the compliances from all these respective acts to complete it. It's a time consuming process for sure, but it can be done.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question if the participants would like to ask? I think we are done with the questions.
Okay.
The earlier questions you have already replied to them, right?
Yeah, I think
one
there were
more
a couple
question
of one and
would like to invest in startups, how to approach?
No, can you repeat it? Your voice just broke.
Would like to invest in a startup, how to approach?
So see, it's a very simple thing. You need to first identify your core principles. When you do your own introspection, where have you been investing till now? What kind of industries in the startup are you looking to invest in? Is it into education? Is it into agriculture? Is it into healthcare? Is it into sports tech? What you want to actually invest in, like where does your knowledge or your understanding lie? Where does your experience, maybe from your own business or your own profession or what you've been doing till now, or your family background या family business कुछ होगा, तो आपका experience कहाँ पे lie होता है? Once you identify that, काफी कुछ filter out हो जाता है और काफी कुछ screen हो जाता है कि okay, now this is something, so काफी कुछ filter down हो जाता है जब when you are aware कि okay, I want to invest only in education sector, in edtech industry or in edtech startups, because I am from the education field. I teach, I am a professor, whatever, I run some classes or something. So I want to invest only in edtech field. So that is where something then आप filter down कर सकते हो कि भाई ये खाली edtech के अंदर मुझे invest करना है. Then I think things become very, very clear, wherein we can work together, very closely. कि अच्छा ये education के अंदर ऐसे startups आते हैं, आपका ticket size क्या है फिर? So those are the few things which we need to sit down and discuss with you. Okay, this is a minimum ticket size. आप 5 लाख करना चाहते हो, 10 लाख करना चाहते हो, और आप कैसे उसको grow करना चाहते हो. But the idea is to create a portfolio while you invest in startups, and not just invest in one startup and leave it. वो डिसिप्लिन तरीके से जैसे स्टॉक मार्केट में स्टॉक्स का पोर्टफोलियो बनाते हैं, वैसा इसमें भी करना चाहिए. तब जाके आपको 5 साल में you will create enormous amount of money and wealth, in the startup ecosystem. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So another question from the same participant: is there any platform to read the pick map and take a call on investing?
To read the what?
To read the picked map.
Picked map?
Yeah, picture map or something. Business plan is saying, okay.
Acha, so business plan is something which we sit down with the startups individually, who come on board with us, and then we prepare for them. It's not something that is publicly available, because we have developed this business and thorough research with angel investors and fund managers. So publicly available nahi hoga. But if you want to learn about startups, if you want to do, you want to understand the startup ecosystem, I would urge you and to go on these social media platforms. मेरे ही है सब नीचे. You can view my LinkedIn profile. We write a lot of articles on LinkedIn. Instagram is there, and YouTube is there. There are many of my videos on YouTube regarding startups and how we deal with startups, what is angel investing, how to actually grow your startup, also how to learn to invest in startups. So there are a lot of good content regarding startups, businesses, and angel investing on these social media platforms. आप वहाँ पे जा सकते हो, ये सब handles है हमारे, and you can have a look at it. I'm sure you will appreciate the content that we've put out there for everyone to learn, basically.
I didn't understand. One more question is there. A startup is only if it involves innovation, development, or creates employment, as per definition. So how can we clarify whether eligible for registration as a startup? Any issues in this regard?
No, so see, registration can be. I hope this is being asked by a CA. Registration is something which can be done. अगर आप ये सब norms comply कर लेते हो तो registration हो जाएगा. Registration is not a major hurdle. आप register हो जाओगे under DIPP and everything, but the hurdle will come if you think that registration will lead you to start a fundraising. अगर आप ये सोचोगे तो वो hurdle एक होएगा, because as I gave you examples in the presentation, एक ट्रेडिशनल कंपनी भी, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी भी जो 3-4 साल पुरानी होगी और उनका टर्नओवर 100 करोड़ से नीचे होगा, who is registered under Companies Act 2013 etc. They can also register under DIPP. जो भी दूसरे एडिशनल 5-6 कंप्लायंस हो गए वो कंप्लाई करके that company can also register. But then to raise funds from angel investors or funds, VC funds or something, that will not be possible if they are not solving a major problem. Yes, you are right. If they're not, doing any innovation, and if there is no big technology as an enabler, तो वो एक प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा फिर फंड रेजिंग. रजिस्टर तो कर सकते हैं, अब रजिस्टर करके उसके अंदर इनकम टैक्स का एग्जेप्शन भी ले सकते हैं जो अंडर 56 लगता है. ये सब तो कोई भी कर सकता है, इसमें कुछ नहीं है.
Okay, so we have one last question. How crowdfunding differentiate with angel funding?
So crowdfunding में क्या होता है कि you don't issue any particular notes, you don't issue any shares, you don't issue anything. It is just a आपके पास एक platform होता है. There are a few platforms. I don't know India में है कि नहीं है, but there are a couple of platforms in US. crowdfunds.com या ऐसा कुछ है, if I'm not wrong. So there what happens is you can just list your idea. Crowdfunding generally कहाँ पे काम आता है, जहाँ पे आप आइडिया स्टेज पे होते हो और यहाँ पे जहाँ पे आप प्रोडक्ट का डेवलपमेंट के लिए आप क्राउड से फंड ले रहे हो. And it can be as little as 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, or in US maybe even $500, $200. Not a big amount. Angel investing is something where a proper professional person who can actually afford that 5 lakhs or 10 lakh rupees can actually come into the picture, और उसको उनको equity stake मिल सकता है या convertible notes मिल सकता है जो actually paper में दिखाया जाएगा. Crowdfunding will be something जो generally product बनाने के लिए use किया जाता है. I'll give you an example. I had personally, 2-3 years back, called a electric e-cycle basically from Kerala via a platform of crowdfunding only, which is called Fuel a Dream. तो वहां से if I pay that money to that particular manufacturer of the e-cycle, then he will book my order for my cycle. तो उनको अगर 100 बाइक्स के पैसे आते हैं तो वो सिर्फ 100 बाइक्स ही मैन्युफैक्चर करेंगे. So that is the thing of crowdfunding. So it will not be, it will not be to actually expand or grow. वो प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करने के लिए या आइडिया को प्रोडक्ट लाने के लिए वो यूज किया जाता है. अगर आपके पास कुछ काफी इनोवेशन है but you are not being able to arrange funds from anywhere, you can list it on such crowdfunding platforms और आपको शायद you will be able to raise a decent amount of money to kickstart your idea into a product.
Okay, so one last question will take up, and if there are any further questions, you can take up the questions and you can email the questions to Devansh and he will revert it to you. So one last question is, object of the startup should be related with innovation and size. Yes, I guess, right?
What objects?
Object of a startup should be related with innovation and science.
Object of a startup should be related to innovation and size. What do you mean by object? Objective, that is objective of a startup.
I think Radhika ji, I would request you also drop an email.
If you can drop me a WhatsApp on this number or an email at the email ID or something, we could take it offline because I'm not quite understanding the question, what it is meaning.
No issues, no issues. Now I would request participants to drop an email for their questions to Devansh and he'll revert it back to you. So with
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Devansh. With this, I would like to thank Devansh and Kaviraj ji for sharing your thoughts on this startup and the funding and how one can go about registering the startup and raise the funding for it. With this, I would request once again TC Bafna sir to please give a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Amit bhai. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks for a wonderful and useful lecture on the fundraising expert for startup to CA Devansh Lakhani, with experience professionally CA and providing financial services through a Lakhani Financial Services as a key person, director, and helping and advising efficiently on the fundraising through IPO and right issue as an advisory services, and to the startup business to channelize investment models. And also thanks to our Chief Kevira sir, who is professionally running a sports and cricket academy and shared experience with us in the best way. Thank you very much for the Kevira sir also. So thank you Devansh Lakhani ji on this wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you all the viewers also for their
Thank you,
valuable
Bhavna.
time they have spent for this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bhavna, sir.
Thank you, sir. So with this, I would request Karan to please give a closing remark and let's close the session.
Thank you, Amit. Once again, thank you very much, Devansh Lakhani, for joining us. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time on our platform, What Next Team for Professional. Thank you very much, CATC Bafna, sir, for giving your valuable time. CA Amit Gandhi, CA Rahul Narvare, and thank you very much all the attendees for joining us. Thank you very much. So with this, now I'm closing today's session. Once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for attending.
Bye.
And thank you for it. Thank you.